Okay, so law on contracts. Okay, let us discuss law on contract. A contract again is the meeting of the minds between two persons whereby one bind himself with respect to others to give something or to render some service. So pag sinabi nating meeting of the minds, okay, we have the so-called consent. Okay? Consent as to the object and as to the cost or consideration. So ito pong contract, ito na meeting of the minds, okay, one of the essential elements class ay ang consent. And one party bind himself to give something or to render some service. Giving something is a real contract. A real contract. Kasi meron pong in possession mo na i-deliver mo sa ibang tao. Okay? And the delivery is required to transfer ownership. Okay? So tanong ay kailan kailangan yung delivery? Is it during the perfection stage or consummation stage? Kasi kung ang delivery is necessary, okay, in perfection stage or necessary to determine the existence of a contract, then the said contract is real contract. Okay? But if by mere consent, even without delivery, there exists a contract, the contract is consensual contract. Okay? Consensual contract. So, pwede kasi na ang contract ay consensual, but during the consummation stage, kailangan po ng delivery. An example of this is contract of sale. A contract of sale is a consensual contract which is perfected by mere consent. Okay? But during its consummation stage, the parties are required to deliver something. The vendor is required to deliver the thing sold, and the vendee is required to deliver the payment or to transfer the said amount or its equivalent. Okay? Or to render some service. Ito naman, okay? Ito naman ay personal obligation. Di ba? So kung this is an obligation to do, may gagawin ka, rendering of service. To give something, say for example, sale, contract of sale. Okay? O kaya naman na kapag render of some service is a personal contract, say for example, in a contract entered into by a carpenter, okay, o kaya naman by a host, di ba? O kaya naman a professor or reviewer. Ayan, it's a contract of rendering some service. As a rule, the contracting parties may establish such stipulations, clauses, terms, and condition as may be deemed convenient provided that they are not contrary to law, moral, customs, public order, or public policy. So, basta't hindi po contradicting sa LMC, POP, okay? Law, moral, customs, public order, public policy, the parties may stipulate whatever they want. Bakit? Because a contract has the force of law, okay? Has the force of law between the parties. Okay? The contract has the force of law between okay. So as to perfection, we have here consensual contract and a real contract. Okay? Contracts are perfected by mere consent. And from that moment, the parties are bound not only to the fulfillment of what has been expressly stipulated, but also to all consequences which according to their nature may be keeping in with good faith, usage, and law. So if they agreed, no, yung parties agreed to the object and the consideration. Say for example, si Juan de la Cruz, ino-offer niya na ibenta, no, yung sasakyan Toyota Fortuner with plate number ILY 143 kay Pedro. Okay? At si Pedro nag-agree na bibilhin niya. So there is already a contract of sale, and that's a consensual contract. Kahit hindi pa dinideliver ni Juan de la Cruz kay Pedro, mayroon na silang contract of sale. Kahit hindi pa binabayaran ni Pedro, itong si Juan de la Cruz, meron na silang contract of sale, and that's a consensual contract. Na kung saan, okay, they are bound to fulfill what has been expressly stipulated. Say, for example, they stipulated na, Juan, you have to deliver the said Toyota Fortuner on February 18, 2022. So, ano pa lang ngayon? Okay, after 2 days, tsaka pa lang siya magde-deliver. So, okay, hindi pa niya na-deliver yon, and hindi pa nababayaran ni Pedro. Ngayon, okay, kahit na hindi naka-stipulate, and all the consequences which according to their nature may be in keeping with good faith, usage, and law, meron kang obligation, no? As a seller or vendor to take care of the thing, okay, with a diligence of a good father of the family. Okay, to deliver the accessions and accessories even though they may not have been mentioned, or to deliver the fruits from the moment the obligation to deliver arises. Yan. Or during the perfection of contract, the contract is a real contract. Bakit real contract? Kung dito sa consensual, COC, no? COC ang requirement para ma-perfect yung kontrata. Sa real contract, maliban sa consent as to the object and as to the consideration, kailangan din po ng tinatawag nating delivery. Yan. An example of this is contract of pledge. Di ba? Kapag ikaw ay nagsanla, no? Ginagamit mo yung thing na isinanla mo as a security doon sa utang mo. Umutang ka, si for example, Juan de la Cruz umutang kay Pedro, pinautang ni Pedro si Juan de la Cruz ng 50,000, at sabi naman ni Juan de la Cruz, as a security, okay, hawakan mo muna itong cellphone ko na iPhone. So hawak mo ito. Okay, kapag binayaran kita, tsaka mo ibalik sa akin. Okay? So yung loan, contract of loan, meron na existing na. Accessory to that contract of loan ay itong contract of pledge, na hindi naman mapo-perfect hanggat hindi mo i-deliver yung thing pledge. Okay? So such as deposit, ito po yung mga real contracts, pledge, comodatum. These are not perfected until delivery of the object of the obligation. So pag sinabing deposit, kung magpapatago ka ng jewelry, ng document na importante, okay, then you have to deliver the said object. Comodatum, hihiramin mo, rent a car, diba? Magrerenta ka ng van, paparenta mo yan. The object is the van, diba? So ibig sabihin, kailangan mong i-deliver din yung van para magkaroon ng perfected contract of, say for example, yung rental o kaya lease, 'di ba, ng van. So that's a real contract, comodatum. O kaya naman yung pag nasa Baguio, 'di ba, sa Burnham Park, magre-rent ka ng bike, magba-biking ka doon. O binayaran mo yung rental fee for 1 hour, say for example 100 pesos, kailangan niyang i-deliver yung object para ma-perfect yung kontrata ninyo. And that's comodatum. Okay, that's a real contract. So pag sinabing real contract, delivery is necessary to perfect the said obligation or the said contract. Yan. Take note ang contract of sale, okay, is a consensual contract. So kapag perfection ang pinag-usapan, napo-perfect ang contract of sale by mere consent as to the object and consideration. Okay? So kapag ka-perfection stage pinag-usapan, okay, ang contract of sale ay consensual. But as to the consummation stage, this is a consensual contract with, okay, a real obligation. Ayan na. Iba po yung real contract sa real obligation, ha? Okay? Pag sinabing real contract, mapaperfect siya because one of the essential element for its perfection ay delivery. Pag sinabing real obligation, yung ipo-perform mo, okay, na obligasyon ay to give or to deliver. Ayan, ha? So a contract of sale is a consensual contract. It can be perfected by mere consent, but the consummation of its obligation is real. Okay, so that's perfection. So what's the difference between implied contract and quasi-contract? Pag sinabi nating implied contract, you have learned, okay, na ito po ay perfected contract. Ibig sabihin, merong meeting of the minds as to the object and consideration. Hindi nga lang expressly or formally stated. Example, sabi mo sa pintor, no? Pwede bang punta ka bukas sa bahay at magpapapintor ako ng kitchen. Ang rate ko ay 1,000 per day. Okay. Tapos hindi po nag-confirm. Okay, yung pintor sabi niya, sige, tignan ko bukas. Yan. So 1,000 per day ang consideration. Ang object is contract of service. Ito, di ba? Service, magpapapaint ng kitchen. Okay? Then, wala namang formal na kasunduan, walang kasulatan. Okay? Pero kinabukasan, dumating po yung pintor. So, impliedly, okay, nagkaroon ng meeting of the minds due to the will of the parties. Okay? Gusto niyang ipapaint, gusto niyang magbayad. Yung pintor naman, gusto niyang gawin kasi gusto niyang kumita. Okay? So, implied contract requires consent of the parties. Ayan. Whether the consent is expressly given or impliedly given. The basis is the will of the parties, yung kagustuhan. Pero kapag quasi-contract, we have learned that quasi means as if. Di ba? As if. Parang lang, parang may kontrata. Pero wala talagang kontrata. Because quasi-contract again, okay, is a lawful, unilateral, voluntary act. So yan po yung love act. Diba? Lawful, okay? In accordance with the law. Okay? Unilateral kasi wala pong consent yung other party. Ikaw lang po ang nagkusa na gawin ang isang bagay na legal at voluntary mong ginawa. Yan. See, for example, ng quasi-contract, solutio in debiti, okay? And negotiorum gestio. And of course, na-discuss din natin yung iba pang klase ng quasi-contract, no? See, for example, negotiorum gestio. There is an abandoned property, okay? And you, as an officious manager, you voluntarily, freely manage the said property without the knowledge or consent of the owner. Kasi kung may knowledge and consent siya, hindi na po yan quasi-contract. It is now a contract. Di ba? Baka naman contract of agency. Ayan. Okay? Solutio in debiti. Okay? If you have received something, okay, wherein you do not have the right to demand or to receive such, and you have received this thing by mistake. So what is your obligation? Obligation is to reimburse. Okay? To give back. Kasi wala kang karapatang tanggapin yan. Okay? So it's your unilateral, voluntary, and lawful act to return in order to prevent unjust enrichment at the expense of the other. So, in a quasi-contract, ang pagkakaiba niya sa implied, okay? Dito sa implied, wala pong formal na sinabi, wala namang expressly na kasulatan, pero may meeting of the minds. Sa quasi-contract, wala pong meeting of the minds. No? Ang basis nito ay law, okay, to the end that there shall be no unjust enrichment. Kaya mo po voluntaryo ding gagawin yung obligasyon mo para wala pong malugi at the expense of the others. Walang kumita at the expense of the other. And this is a unilateral act, hindi po to bilateral. And it is not predicated on consent. Okay? So, ayan. Now, aside from implied and quasi-contract, you have to determine the performance. So, determination of performance. The contract must bind both contracting parties and its validity or compliance cannot be left to the will of one of them. Actually, pwede po na may arbiter, may third person na mag-determine kung na-comply na ni Juan de la Cruz yung kanyang obligation o na-comply na ni Pedro yung kanyang obligation. Ang bawal po according to Article 1308, compliance cannot be left to the will of one of them. Okay? And the contract, of course, must bind both contracting parties because the contract has the force of law between the parties. Diba? May binding effect. May meeting of the mind sila. Okay? However, the determination of performance may be left to the third person. So, pwedeng pong may arbiter. Diba? Meron pong mag-identify kung ano ba talaga, na-comply ba talaga yung obligation o hindi. The decision of third person shall not be binding unless it has been made known to the contracting parties. Hindi po yan binding, okay? Hanggat hindi po binabanggit doon sa contracting parties na ito po yung decision niya. Okay? Moreover, the determination shall not be obligatory. So, ibig sabihin, hindi po magkakaroon ng effect, okay, doon sa parties if it is evidently inequitable. Kung luging-lugi naman yung isang party. Kung may pinapanigan itong si third person. In such case, court shall decide. So, let the court decide kung nagiging bias na itong third party na to. Okay? What is equitable under the circumstance? Okay. Contract shall affect the following persons. Siyempre, class, ang contracting parties, sila po yung affected doon. Example, gumawa sila ng deed of absolute sale. It is the vendor, okay, or the seller and the vendee, the buyer, ang affected doon sa kontrata. Diba? So as a rule, contracts take effect only between parties. Only between parties. There are assigns. Okay, kunyari inassign niya yung karapatan niya, di ba? To collect. So mayroon siyang assignee, siya naman yung assignor. Or heirs. Kunyari namatay na po yung sample lang, no? Yung creditor, okay, siyempre ang magko-collect na doon yung mga tagapagmana niya. Or yung seller, di ba? Magko-collect naman ng payment yung mga tagapagmana niya. Except in cases where rights and obligation arising from contract are not transmissible. So kung intransmissible po yung rights, okay, it will only bind the parties. Okay? Intransmissible by their nature, stipulation, or provision of law. The heirs or the heir is not liable beyond the value of the property received from the decedent. Example, the decedent X, okay, ay meron siyang property, okay, na 1 million, tapos apat yung heirs, then tig to 250,000 kayo. Unfortunately, may creditor na naniningil. Okay? So technically, dapat ang utang lang ay kung hanggang magkano yung kayang bayaran ng estate. Bago po i-distribute yan, dapat i-deduct na yung liability. Okay? Eh what if nung may naniningil na creditors, more than 1 million pa yung sinisingil? According to the law, the heir is not liable beyond the value of the property he received from the decedent. So kung nakatanggap sila ng tig 250 tapos biglang may naningil and legitimate naman pala, kasi hindi naman during, syempre, hindi naman lahat ng creditors ay alam agad na namatay na yung kanilang pinapautangan. Okay? Pinapautang. So, naniningil ngayon sila, pero ikaw na heir, ang pwede mo lang bayaran is up to the maximum amount na natanggap mo. You are not liable. Okay? To the obligation, okay? Yung utang ng decedent. Pero class, ganito ha. According to the law also, kung syempre ayaw nyo din na nahihiya kayo na yung namatay na, for example, kung ikaw yung isa sa mga heirs, yung namatay na decedent, gusto mong bayaran kasi nga ayaw naman ninyo na merong outstanding liability yung decedent. Okay? And the creditor, according to the law, may retain the payment kung voluntary na ibinigay at ibinayad ng mga heir, okay, on top or above the value of the property that they receive. Okay? Pero kung hindi po voluntary, hindi sila mako-compel. Di ba? Hindi sila mako-compel hanggang sa kung magkano lang ang natanggap. It affects third person if contract should contain some stipulation in favor of the said third person. At ang tawag po natin dito is stipulation for autrui. Okay? So kung meron third person na magbe-benefit, say for example, in an insurance contract, the insurer, okay, yung example ng insurer class ay yung Sun Life, okay, Manulife, Pru Life, okay, kung ano pang mga life insurance companies, at insured, yung nagpa-insure, di ba? Pag may nangyari sa akin, okay, kapag nawala na ako, Okay, ang tatanggap ng mga proceeds sa insurance na yan ay si Juan de la Cruz. So it is a stipulation in favor of a third person. Okay, for a truing. O kaya naman, o sige, bilhin ko to ha. Bilhin ko tong lupa na to, babayaran kita ng ganito, pero portion niyan, kalahati niyan, okay, i-subdivide mo kay Juan de la Cruz. Yung kalahati naman sa akin. Pero walang binayaran si Juan de la Cruz. Diba? Juan de la Cruz is a third person na kung saan magkakaroon ng benefit. And that stipulation in favor of Juan de la Cruz as a third person is known as stipulation for a truing. So as a rule, ang affected lang yung mga party sana. Kaso nga na exception, ito po, affected kahit hindi yung party. Okay, na nakipagpirmahan doon. Perfection of contract, we're done with this, consensual and real. Again, kapag consensual, kailangan lang po ng COC. Kapag real, COCD. Kailangan po ng delivery. Effect of contract entered into in the name of another. Kapag ka hindi ikaw yung may-ari, nire-represent mo lang yung owner, ano po ang magiging effect? So dapat authorized ka. Yun ang unang-una sa lahat, no? You have a power of attorney. Kapag act of ownership, special power of attorney. Otherwise, kung hindi ka authorized, okay, baka unenforceable yung kontrata. Or baka void. Say for example, sale of a real property or any interest therein through an agent must be in writing. Otherwise, it is void. Okay, so the authority of the agent must be in writing para authorize siya na ibenta. Otherwise, daw void po yung kontrata. So if authorized by the party or by law, okay, Article 1317 of the New Civil Code provides that no one may contract in the name of another without being authorized by the latter. Okay? Take note class, nemo dat quod non habet. Di ba? You have learned this in Oblicon. You cannot give what you do not have. Di ba? So kung hindi ikaw yung may-ari, hindi mo matatransfer yung ownership sa ibang tao. Okay? Unless ikaw ay authorized by the owner na makipagpirma in his or her behalf. Okay? So, 1317 of the New Civil Code provides that no one may contract in the name of another without being authorized by the latter or unless he has by law a right to represent him. Okay? Therefore, the authority makes the contract perfectly valid. So kapag authorized siya by the party or may law na nag-authorize sa kanya, then magiging perfectly valid. Otherwise, unenforceable or baka naman void. Yan. If without authority, okay, or legal representation, or kung meron mang authority but he acted beyond his powers, sumobra siya, no? Ang authority mo lang ay magparenta, no? Lease. Okay, ito yung building ko, iparenta mo itong unit na ito, okay? At a rate of 10,000 per month. Okay? Ang ginawa naman ng agent mo, okay, binenta niya yung property, yung building. That is something that beyond, okay, the powers granted to him, di ba? So what will happen? Yung kontrata entered into by that agent na merong authority ay unenforceable. Mas lalo na yung walang authority, di ba? Yan. So unless it is ratified. So as a rule, unenforceable unless, okay, inapprove, ni-ratify ng principal. Okay? Expressly or impliedly. So for example, na implied ratification, kahit hindi sinabi ng principal na sige, binebenta ko yan, okay? Nung binigay ni agent yung payment, tinanggap naman ng principal. Or nang pinamit ni agent, okay, yung would-be buyer doon sa principal, at first nagulat siya, ba't hindi ko naman binibenta? Pero nung nag-usap na sila, binigay yung payment, tinanggap naman. That's implied ratification of an unenforceable contract. Or lalo na kapag expressly ratified, siya mismong pumirma, hindi na yung agent, yun na mismong principal. Okay? by person on whose behalf it has been executed before it is revoked by the other contracting parties. So yan, pag walang authority, unenforceable. Actually, class, we have here the acronym, no? Para maging unenforceable ang contract, okay, number 1, there must be no authority to transact or to negotiate in behalf of another person or acted beyond the authority. Okay? Okay naman, failed to comply the statute of frauds. Anong ibig pong sabihin nito? May certain contract kasi or agreement na dapat nakasulat. Okay? Say for example, nung dapat nakasulat ay lease of a property for more than 1 year, it must be in writing. Otherwise, unenforceable. Okay, yan po yung isa. Diba? Okay naman, purchase of goods with value of more than 500, dapat nakasulat. Otherwise, unenforceable. Okay naman, when both parties, so NSB ang ating acronym, both parties are incapable of giving consent. Okay? So, incapacitated. O kaya naman, minor silang dalawa. O kaya naman, okay, deaf-mute who does not know how to read or write. Okay? O kaya naman, those suffering from civil interdiction. So, you have your NSB. Okay? Then, essential elements of a contract. We have here essential, which is required siya para maging existing yung kontrata. So to perfect the contract, the following element must be present. In a consensual contract, for its existence, it is essential to have consent as to the object and the consideration or the price. Okay? O kaya naman, consent as to the object and consideration plus delivery. Okay? Ayan. Ha? Opo, naka-video po tayo mga kapatid. No? Ayan. So ngayon, that is for essential element. Ngayon, kapag sinabi nating natural element, kahit na hindi naka-stipulate, okay, impliedly, meron siya existing dun sa kontrata. Okay? These are not essential for its existence. Ito po, natural, no? Not essential for the existence of a contract, but are presumed to exist. So once na nagkaroon na ng existence yung contract, nag-i-exist na siya. Example class, yung mga warranty. Di ba? Warranty. Kahit na hindi naka-stipulate, kung contract of sale yan, merong warranty against hidden defect. Okay? Impliedly, nandyan yan. Kahit na hindi naka-stipulate. Or, your obligation as the vendor or the seller, okay, to take care of the thing with a diligence of a good father of the family. O kaya naman, kung ikaw yung driver ng common carrier, jeep, bus, taxi, you have the obligation, okay, to take care, okay, of your passenger with a diligence of a very cautious person. Yan. Or the obligation to deliver the accessions and accessories even though they may not have been mentioned. Kahit na hindi banggitin, i-deliver mo. Kailangan mo i-deliver. Diba? Okay naman yung fruits when the obligation to deliver arises. So kung ang ibebenta mo ay lupa, diba? Lupa, tapos may fruit-bearing trees doon, kasama po yung mga fruits doon. Hindi mo dapat tanggalin. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin yung lupa lang yung binebenta mo. Okay, kasama po yung mga fruits. Or accidental elements. Ano naman tong accidental elements ng contract? So pag natural, not essential for the existence, okay, but presumed to exist, ito naman, mag-e-exist lang kapag in-stipulate. Exist only when parties expressly stipulates. Okay? See, for example, interest, di ba? Pinautang kita, dapat stipulated kung magkano or ilang percent ang interest per annum, per month, per quarter. Or semi-annual. Accidental element. So kaya naman, pwedeng may express warranty, di ba? Okay? May implied siya, kahit hindi sabihin, meron yan as a contract of sale. Pero, kung gusto mong dagdagan pa ng warranty para ma-induce mo, di ba? maengganyo mo na bilhin sa'yo yung product, pwede pong isulat. Yan, accidental element. Okay? Of a contract. Okay naman, terms of payment, these are accidental elements. These are terms and conditions that are not contrary to law, moral, customs, public order, public policy. Again, a contract has the force of law between the parties. Yan ang batas between the parties. Kaya dapat, okay, masundan mo or sundin natin in good faith. Okay? Essential elements. What are the essential requisites of a contract? We have discussed this. We have your consent, object, which is certain, okay, which is the subject matter of the contract, and cause of the obligation, which is established. Okay, that's under Article 1318 of the new Civil Code. Wala pong kontrata pag wala yung COC. Now let's discuss consent. Consent is manifested by the meeting of offer and acceptance. Yung seller nag-o-offer ng thing, yung buyer naman inaccept niya yung thing, at of course yung price. Upon the thing and the cost or the price which are to constitute the contract. So there must be an offer which is definite and the acceptance which is absolute. Okay? Iba po kasi yung acceptance na instead na absolutely na-accept mo, nagbigay ka pa ng counter offer. Say for example, sabi ni Juan de la Cruz, Pedro, gusto mo bang bilhin itong bench watch ko? 500 pesos na lang. Mura na lang ito. Sabi naman ni Pedro, pakita nga. O nga, maganda. Pero pwede bang 450 na lang? So, may object yung watch. Okay? May consideration, 500, pinalitan niya yun 450. That is a counter offer. Wala pa pong acceptance doon na absolute. It's a qualified acceptance. So wala pang consent doon. Okay? Unless sinabi ni Juan, sige, 450 na lang, discounted na lang kasi kaibigan naman kita. Okay, there is now an absolute acceptance on a counter offer, then meron ng consent. Characteristic of an offer. The offer must be certain. Sigurado. The offer may include the fixing of the time, place, and manner of acceptance. The offer made through an agent is acceptance. So kung agent po ang inoferan, accepted from the time the acceptance is communicated to him. Okay? Through an agent, okay? It is accepted from the time acceptance is communicated to him, yung principal. Yan. An offer becomes ineffective upon the death, civil interdiction. Pag sinabi nating civil interdiction, class, there are certain rights or civil rights na hindi mo na pwedeng i-exercise. Example, kasi nga nakakulong ka na. Di ba? Insanity, alam nyo naman yan, no? Medyo mentally challenged na. Insolvency, okay? Yung asset niya ay less than the liability. So, kulang na yung pambayad niya doon. Paano ka pa ba niya mababayaran kung mas madami siyang utang? Either party before acceptance is conveyed. Characteristic of an acceptance, the acceptance must be absolute. A qualified acceptance constitutes counter offer. Acceptance made by letter or telegram does not bind the offerer except from the time it came to his knowledge. Yan. Dapat malaman niya, no, kung by telegram, mabasa niya na inaccept na. The contract in such case is presumed to have been entered into in the place where the offer was made. An acceptance may be expressed or implied. Okay? Kagaya na example natin kanina, yung in-offer mo yung kitchen mo na papapintura sa pintor, okay, at wala po siyang sinabing, okay, sige, pupunta po ako bukas. The next day, dumating siya. So impliedly, ina-accept niya. Option contract. We'll discuss on law on sales yung concept ng option money and earnest money. Okay? Now, dito sa option contract, kapag kayong kontrata na ito ay with consideration, ang tawag po dun sa money na yon ay option money. Okay? An option contract is a contract, okay, which again has an offer, okay, na i-accept mo. Okay? But this is preparatory to another contract. Yan. So for example, contract to sell is a kind of option contract. Gusto mo bang bilhin itong sasakyan ko? Kaya i-offer ko sa'yo, okay, at 500,000 pesos. Sabi naman ni Juan de la Cruz, ay wala pa akong pera ngayon eh. pero next week magkakapera ako. Ay, ganun ba? Sige, bigyan kita ng offer period. Okay, ano ngayon? Wednesday. Sige, hanggang Wednesday next week. I-offer ko sa'yo. Pero magbigay ka naman ng option money. Yan. Bigyan mo naman ako ng, kumbaga, reservation. Okay? At kapag nagbigay si Juan de la Cruz ng 10,000, okay, that is a consideration for the option contract to be effective at hindi niya pwedeng i-offer sa iba until mag-expire na yung period hanggang Wednesday. Otherwise, magiging liable siya. Di ba? So, alamin nyo kung with or without any consideration. Kasi kung without consideration, hindi nagbayad ito si Juan de la Cruz ng 10,000, pwedeng i-offer sa ibang tao. Pwedeng i-withdraw yung offer na yan anytime before acceptance ni Juan de la Cruz. Kasi nga, nag-iisip pa siya. Di ba? Magde-decide pa siya until next week. Di ba? Pero kung right there and then, nung in-offer sa kanya at in-accept niya, kahit wala pang payment, meron ng kontrata. Hindi na po option contract ang tawag dyan. Kasi may consent na sa object, may consent na sa consideration din. Here, when offer has allowed the offeree certain period to accept without any consideration given, the offer may be withdrawn at any time before acceptance. Okay? By communicating such withdrawal. Ito i-highlight ko yung word na before. Bago pa niya i-accept. Okay? Kasi kapag walang consideration, so walang option money, pero in-accept na niya bago i-withdraw ng nag-offer, kunyari si Pedro nag-offer, sige hanggang Wednesday, bigyan kita ng oras hanggang Wednesday. Walang binigay si Juan de la Cruz na option money. Wednesday ngayon. Next week, yung expiration ng option period. Hindi pa nabebenta ni Pedro sa ibang tao. Kinabukasan Thursday, sabi niya kay Pedro, okay? Pedro, i-accept ko na yung offer mo, pero yung payment next week. So there is an acceptance. Qualified ba yun or absolute? Absolute acceptance. Di ba? Pero next week ko babayaran. So, nag-agree na siya. Pwede pa bang i-withdraw? Meron pong right of first refusal na doctrine. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Pag binenta pa rin ni Pedro sa ibang tao, pwede pong tapatan ni Juan de la Cruz, okay, yung binayad nung other party, yung third party, subsequent dun kay Juan de la Cruz. Kasi nauna po si Juan de la Cruz. Okay, there will be concept of right of first refusal. So pwede po niyang bawiin basta't i-reimburse niya yung ibinayad ng third party. Yan kapag bago i-withdraw, in-accept na. Pero kapag sinabi ni Pedro, uy, Juan de la Cruz hanggang Wednesday yung offer okay. The next day, nakita na naman ni Pedro ito si Juan de la Cruz. Sabi niya, ay Juan de la Cruz, binabawi ko na pala, wini-withdraw ko na pala yung in-offer ko sa'yo. Ha? Di ba hanggang Wednesday yun? Hanggang Wednesday. Pero binabawi ko na, hindi ko na pala ibebenta sa'yo. Hindi ko na i-offer sa'yo. Teka lang, pwede mo bang i-withdraw yun? According to the law, pwede. Anytime. Before acceptance. Diba? By communicating such withdrawal. Kasi wala ka namang binigay na consideration. So pag ganun, wala na pong right of first refusal itong si Juan de la Cruz. So kunyari, binenta ni Pedro sa third party, pwede pa bang bawiin ni Juan de la Cruz yun? By simply reimbursing yung ibinayad ng third party, kunyari si Carlo? The answer now is no. Because wala pong acceptance na ginawa itong si Juan de la Cruz kay Pedro in that particular option contract. Okay? Kaya kung kayo, inoferan kayo at talaga namang gusto nyo yung binibenta, wala ka lang muna kayong pera ngayon, capacity, i-accept nyo na. Pero makipag-negotiate kayo na yung terms of payment, may down muna na ganito, earnest money, tsaka mo bayaran yung mga balance. Kung talagang gusto mo. Pero kung undecided ka, okay, at gusto mong may security at hindi ma-offer sa iba, ito po yun. Okay? Bigyan mo ng consideration. Why? When the option is founded upon a consideration, the offer may only be withdrawn after the lapse of the period to accept. So hanggang Wednesday next week. Pag hindi ka pa rin nag-accept, Juan de la Cruz, sa akin na itong ibinayad mo. Okay? Ifo-forfeit ko na siya. Okay? At pwede na ako mag-offer sa iba. Ayan. Otherwise, the offerer shall be liable for damages kapag ka during the period na bawal mong i-offer sa iba, binenta mo kay Carlo. Meron pong consideration yan. Okay? Ang problema naman dito, class, kapag may consideration, meron bang right of first refusal? Wala po. Wala pong right of first refusal. Ibig sabihin, kapag nagbayad ka ng option money at within the period, ibinenta niya sa ibang tao, ang remedy mo lang is not to redeem what Pedro sold to Carlo, but to ask for payment of damages. Kasi wala pong right of first refusal kapag may consideration. Okay? Yan po yung sabi nga sa jurisprudence, parang it turned the jurisprudence upside down with regard to option contract. Why? Yung walang consideration na inoffer sa'yo, meron kang right of first refusal. Nagiging right in priority ka. Ito naman na may consideration kang binigay, wala kang right of first refusal. Ayan na. So take note of that. Okay? But you can claim for damages. Now, what are the effects of advertisements? The business advertisements of things for sale are not definite. Okay, nakikita natin sa billboard, sa TV, sa newspaper, these are not definite sale. Okay? Advertisement for sale lang ito. But mere invitation to make an offer unless it appears otherwise. Advertisement for bidders are simply invitations to make proposals. Say for example, in a government project, say for example, construction of road, building, construction of classroom, o kaya naman bridge, merong various contractors, no, na magbibid doon, bibili ng bid documents at magpropose na ito yung presyo, okay, bid price, at magpapababaan sila. Kung sino yung makakagawa ng project, say for example, concreting of 1 kilometer road, kung sino yung willing mag-accept at the lowest price at gaya ng gawin, siyang mananalo. But again, these advertisement for bidders are simply invitations to make proposal. So it is not a consummated or perfected contract of sale agad. So kunyari, 3 kayong bidders, DMCI, SMDC, tapos Ayala Land. Construction ng Skyway. Isama mo na si San Miguel. Okay, yung gumawa ng Skyway 3. Okay? Itong 4 na to, kapag nag-bid sila, proposal lang yan. Okay, advertisement for bidders. Wala pong agad-agaran na contract. Okay? Until manalo. Yan. An advertiser is not bound to accept the highest or lowest bidder unless the contrary appears. So kapag ka sa kontrata sa government, lowest bidder yan. Pero kunyari, bibili ka ng machinery, bili ka ng loader, backhoe, okay, concrete mixer, di ba? O road roller, okay? Itong mga equipment na ito, punta ka sa Subic, makikipag-bid ka. Ayan, bidders, bibili ka ng bid book, no? May booklet, tapos mag-i-inspect ka, and then makikipag-bid ka na. Pataasan naman yan, highest bidder. Okay? It does not mean na nag-bid ka, ikaw na talaga yung magiging owner. Okay? Magkakaroon ng contract of sale. Wala po. Hanggat hindi ikaw yung declared na winning bidder, wala pang contract of sale. Ayan ha? So advertisements, the following cannot give consent. Ayan. Sino-sino yung mga hindi po makakapagbigay ng consent? Dahil kung isa siya sa mga parties, voidable po yung kontrata. Kung dalawa sila sa parties, magiging void po yung kontrata. Sorry, unenforceable yung kontrata. Okay? Kung dalawa, both parties are incapable of giving consent, unenforceable. Kapag isa naman, voidable. Okay? So, ang acronym natin dito, class, ay idiot. Yan na. Madaling tandaan. Those persons who cannot give their consent are idiot. Okay? Ano po yung idiot? Insane. Ayan. Insane or demented person. They cannot give their consent, yung mga insane, unless during their lucid interval. Ibig sabihin, may sometimes, di ba? Panahon, may panahon na matino siya, may panahon naman na baliw siya. Di ba? So, kapag yung kontrata ay entered into during, okay, the lucid interval, valid yung kontrata. Okay? Kasi matino siya nung time na yon. What else? Deaf, mute, letter D, who do not know how to write. Okay? Incapacitated person. Sino po yung incapacitated person? Baka naman yung kakontrata mo kasi ay nasa ICU na po kasi nga na-aksidente. Incapacitated person. Okay? O kaya naman part ng incapacitated person, lasing, under hypnotic spell. Hindi niya maibibigay freely, voluntarily yung kanyang consent. Okay? Unemancipated minor. So ibig sabihin nasa poder pa lang po ng mga magulang, okay? Unemancipated, hindi pa po siya nakakalabas sa bahay, okay? Under pa rin siya ng supervision ng kanyang mga magulang kasi minor pa naman siya. Those suffering from civil interdiction. Ayan po letter T. Okay? Kapag civilly interdicted ka, okay, there are certain rights na hindi mo ma-exercise. One of which ay ito, enter into a contract kasi nga nakakulong ka naman na. Voidable contract. A contracts entered into by an insane or demented person unless during lucid interval magiging valid as what we have discussed a while ago. Contract agreed in state of drunkenness or during hypnotic spell are voidable. Pag sinabi nating voidable class, the contract is valid. Do not be confused by that. A voidable contract is a valid contract. Okay? It's a valid contract until it is annulled. Okay? So hangga't hindi pa nagfa-file for annulment or nullity ng kontrata, okay? Hangga't hindi pa pinapa-annul, valid po yung kontrata. Yan. Susundan class ha. Iba po ang tinatawag nating void contract. Pag sinabing void lang, hindi po voidable. Okay? This is ineffective from the start, void ab initio. Diba? Iba po yung voidable, valid siya hanggat hindi inaanal. Pag inanal na yung kontrata, magiging void na siya. Okay? Kapag meron ng annulment, then it will be declared void. Okay? So, ayan. Ngayon, what are the different kinds? Marami po. Ito po, when contracts entered into by an insane during or demented person, unless during lucid interval, contract entered into in a state of drunkenness, lasing na lasing during hypnotic spell, a contract where consent is given through mistake, violence, intimidation, undue influence, and fraud. Ito po yung mga tinatawag nating vices of consent. At ang acronym natin dyan mga kapatid ay VIDU. Okay, VIDU. Yan. What are the different vices of consent? Violence. Okay, binugbog ka kaya naibigay mo yung consent mo. Tinorture ka. Intimidation. Okay, alam ko kung nasaan yung asawa mo ngayon at saan nag-aaral ang mga anak mo. Kung hindi mo pipirmahan ito, baka may mangyari sa kanila. Dolo or deceit or fraud. Okay, panloloko. Error or mistake and undue influence. Okay? These are vices of consent. Now, let us discuss the following vices of consent or those that are causes of vitiation of consent. Number one, mistake. Okay? Pagkakamali or error. Okay? Mistake may invalidate or vitiate consent in the following cases. Hindi lahat ng mistake class ay pwede po na gamitin to file for annulment. Hindi po, no? Ito po yung kailangan. Okay? If mistake should refer to the substance, so dapat substance po nung thing na binenta, which is the object of the contract. See, for example, ang object ng kontrata, white sugar, ang i-deliver. Okay? Yun po yung agreement. Unfortunately, ang dineliver ay salt. Magkaparehas namang white, di ba? Pero yung substance niya magkaiba. So there is an error. So pwede mo pong mag-ask ng annulment ng kontrata kasi nagkamali. Iba po yung pinag-agrihan ninyo. Iba yung binigay mong consent. Ang nag-consent ka, white sugar, hindi sa salt. Okay? So, vices of consent. If mistake should refer to those conditions, okay, which have principally moved one or both parties to enter into a contract. Okay, nagkamali kasi yun naman yung dahilan kung bakit siya nakipag-enter into a contract. 'Di ba? So, kapag ganun, vitiation of consent yan. If mistake as to identity or qualification of one of the parties, it will vitiate consent. Hindi mo maibibigay yung totoong consent mo kung alam mo lang na hindi talaga siya yung kakontrata mo. Say for example, mistake in identity sa marriage, sa contract of marriage, di ba? Imbis na si Carla ang papakasalan mo, yung kanyang twin, di ba? Ang nag-attend doon sa ceremony. Okay? So that's mistake in identity. At kung may mistake in identity class, okay, may vitiation of consent. Yung twin niya, iba yun eh. Ayan. Only when such identity or qualification has been principal cause of the contract. Ano ba yung contract of marriage? Siyempre, ang papakasalan mo, yung tao, di ba? That's the principal cause of the contract. In case of mutual error, parehas pong may pagkakamali as to the legal effect of the agreement when the real purpose of the party is frustrated, may vitiate consent. Example, ito po yung merong article or column ang PAO, no? Public Attorney's Office, under kay Attorney Acosta. May nagtanong, sabi po doon, pwede po ba, attorney, na bawiin ko at ipa-invalidate ko yung contract entered into between sa akin as the seller at yung buyer ko? Kasi ako po ay nag-o-online selling. At ang way ko para malaman kung sino yung buyer ay kung sino yung naunang magmamine. 'Di ba? Pabilisan magmine. Ayan. So, ang nangyari po, si Juan de la Cruz, siya yung unang nagmine. Si Pedro naman, siya yung pangalawang nagmine. Pero ako, ang nakita ko doon sa computer, si Pedro. Ayan. Ngayon, nung nagkontakan kami ni Pedro, nag-meet kami, dineliver ko yung thing or item na binenta ko online. Binayaran naman ako ni Pedro. Diba? After one day, etong si Juan de la Cruz tumatawag sa akin. Nag-message po sa akin na kailan ko daw po i-deliver at makikipag-meet para i-deliver yung binili niya online. Nung chinek ko yung conversation o kaya yung mga comment, si Juan de la Cruz nga po ang totoong nauna. Yan na, nauna. Okay? Pwede ko po bang bawiin kay Pedro yung binenta ko sa kanya at kay Juan de la Cruz po ibenta? Kasi nga may error po doon. Nagkamali po ako. Okay? Sa identity. Yan. Nagkamali po ako sa identity at may vitiation of consent. Okay naman, pwede po ba na dahil may fraud, okay? Panluloko kasi nauna pala itong si Juan de la Cruz, tapos ito naman si Pedro, okay? Siya naman ang bumili sa akin. Di po ba parang niloko ako ni Pedro? Yan. Anong sabi ng PAO? Wala pong fraud doon. The fraud must be serious. Okay, we'll discuss this later, no? Yung fraud dapat serious. Okay, ibig sabihin ng serious, yung fraud must be the factor leading the other party to enter into a contract. 'Di ba? Yun yung driving force niya. At yung party na yan ay na-induce kahit na siya ay prudent individual. Maingat siya. Kung alam lang niya na niloloko siya, okay, hindi siya makikipag-enter into contract. Ayan na. Pero in that case, sabi ng PAO, walang panloloko doon. Okay? Kasi nag-mine lang naman sila kasi willing silang bumili. Si Juan de la Cruz nag-mine, si Pedro nag-mine. 'Di ba? Wala naman pong inducement itong si Pedro, wala naman siyang sinabi na sa akin mo ibenta yan. Kasi sa akin ka siswertihin pag binenta mo sa akin. Wala pong kumbaga machination or words na nag-induce, no, para or mga panluloko or yung mga statement para maengganyo ka na ibenta sa kanya. Wala, nag-mine lang silang dalawa. So wala pong fraud doon. How about mistake in identity? O, sabi ng batas, okay? The mistake, sabi dito, no? The mistake should refer to the substance of the thing. Eh hindi ba yung bagay na binebenta mo online, kung cellphone yan, meron bang mali or error doon sa cellphone na binenta? Ang pinapakita ba ay, say for example, iPhone, pero yung dineliver is Samsung? Yan. So, different substance or different thing or object? Hindi naman po, parehas lang. Okay? So, yung error na sinasabi dito ay as to the object, substance of the thing which is the object of the contract. Or, if the mistake should refer to those conditions which principally moved one or both parties to enter into contract, wala naman po mistake. Nagkamali ka lang sa pinagbentahan mo, sa pinagdeliveran mo. Pero willing buyer din siya, sabi ng PAO. Okay? And in a contract of sale, okay, one party bind himself to deliver the thing and the other party to pay for the price or its equivalent. So si buyer, willing siyang magbayad. At binayaran ka niya. Ikaw naman na seller, willing kang ibenta at binenta mo naman. So wala pong fraud doon. Okay? As to the identity, wala din pong mistake in identity doon. Okay? Yun po ang sabi ng PAO. Walang mistake in the identity of the buyer kasi na-consummate na yung kontrata. Okay? So, ayan na. Na-consummate na yung kontrata at si Pedro as the buyer, kasama naman talaga siya doon sa, kumbaga, willing buyer. Ayan. If mistake as to identity or qualification of one of the parties will vitiate consent only when such identity or qualification have been principal cause of the contract. Hindi naman po yung pagkatao ni Pedro or pagkatao ni Juan de la Cruz ang cause ng kontrata. Unlike in marriage, 'di ba? Na identity. Okay, mistake in identity. So ito, valid po yung agreement. Valid po yung kontrata at hindi mo pwedeng mag-ask ng annulment dahil may mistake as to the identity of the buyer. Hindi po ganun. Okay? So mag-ingat po sa mga online, no? Online selling, mine, yung mga pa-mine. There is no mistake in the following cases. When party alleging it knew the doubt, contingency or risk affecting the object of the contract. So kumbaga inexpect naman na niya yung risk. So wala pong mistake doon. Kunyari nagkatotoo nga yung risk, okay, or contingency or yung doubt niya yan, then wala pong mistake on his part. If person enforcing the contract shows that the terms have been fully explained, in-explain naman po. Okay, example, last week lang, okay, nagpagawa ng contract of lease. Hindi naman technically kailangan pang ipagawa kasi 1 year lang naman sila mangungupahan, di ba? Pero for convenience, nagpagawa sila ng contract of lease. Okay? Ngayon, one of the parties, yung lessee ay Chinese, no? Hindi naman lahat ng Chinese kasi class ay kumbaga nakakaintindi ng Tagalog o kaya naman English, lalo na kung talagang galing sa mainland, di ba? So kailangan niya ng interpreter. Yan. So dapat may mag-represent sa kanya to explain fully at meron naman talaga. Okay? So the person enforcing the contract shows that the terms have been fully explained to one of the parties who is unable to read or if the contract is in a language not understood by him. So dapat may mag-explain at tama dapat yung nabanggit para walang mistake. Okay, walang mistake. Violence. There is violence when in order to wrest consent, serious or irresistible force is employed. So yun, tinorture ka, no? Kaya ka napapayag. Intimidation, there is intimidation when one of the contracting parties is compelled by reasonable and well-grounded fear. Tinakot ka, no? May pananakot na ginawa of an imminent and grave evil upon his person or property, or upon the person or property of his spouse, descendants, ascendants, to give his consent. Pag hindi mo pinirmahan yan, di ka pumayag, bukas na bukas, masusunog yung bahay nyo. Okay? O syempre, sa takot mo, okay, na-induce ka, intimidated ka. Still valid yon pero voidable. Pwede mong ipaanal. However, class, ito mag-ingat dito ha. A threat to enforce one's claim. Ha? Pag hindi ka nagbayad, ihahabla kita sa korte. Ha? I will sue you. So ngayon, nagbayad ka. Pwede mo bang ipaanal? Hindi po. Kasi, okay, ine-enforce lang niya yung kanyang karapatan through a competent authority, which is the court. Okay? Hindi mo pwedeng sabing, natakot lang ako na-intimidate ako, kaya may vitiation of consent dyan. Hindi po ganun. If the claim is just or legal, it does not vitiate consent. Okay? So, ayan po. Intimidation, undue influence. There is undue influence. Class, kapag undue influence, dapat merong superior. Okay? May boss. Diba? Yung superior ang nag-impluensya sa kanyang subordinate. Hindi po vice versa. Okay? So, merong position na nag-take advantage siya para ma-induce niya yung ibang tao or nasa baba niya, okay, subordinate niya na pumayag doon. So, undue influence. If for example, probably, okay, mga magulang sa anak, undue influence. 'Di ba? Yan. When a person takes improper advantage of his power over the will of another. Yung boss sa empleyado, depriving the latter of the reasonable freedom of choice. Okay, alam mo, due ka na dapat for promotion, pero may hinihintay na lang yung ano mo na lang, pirma mo na lang. Ayan. So ngayon, syempre nag-iisip ka din, gusto mo ma-promote, etc. Sige, pikit mata na lang, pinirmahan mo din. Undue influence. The following circumstances shall be considered: confidential, family, spiritual, and other relations between parties, or the fact that the person alleged to have been unduly influenced was suffering from mental weakness or was ignorant of or financial distress. Nangangailangan ng pera, di ba? So nag-take advantage sila dyan sa weakness na yan, which is ma-impluwensyahan siya. Oh, ibenta mo na yung lupa mo. 1,000 square meters yan, di ba? Benta mo na ng merong bibili 50,000. Ang worth nun is 500,000. So, syempre, undue influence. Okay? Under financial distress. Okay naman, mental weakness. So, kumbaga, merong superior, meron ding subordinate. Ayan. Fraud. Okay. Hindi lahat ng fraud class ay nakakapag-vitiate ng consent. Di ba? There is fraud when through insidious words or machinations of one of the contracting parties, the other is induced to enter into a contract. Okay? Napapayag mo na makipagkontrata sa iyo dahil niloko mo siya. Example ko dito, class, ay yung nagpanggap na dean ng College of Law. No? Alam nyo na yung example na yan. Causal fraud ang tawag doon. Hindi naman talaga siya dean. Diba? Kung alam lang sana ng bookstore na hindi siya dean, hindi sila makikipag-enter into a contract. But due to insidious words or machinations, nakipag-enter sila, na-induce sila makipag-enter into contract. Without them, he would not have agreed to. Pero yung isang example natin, yung incidental fraud, okay, totoo naman na siya ay importer ng rice, Japanese rice. So wala pong panloloko doon. Okay? During the perfection of the contract. Ang panloloko ay nangyari, kailan? During the execution. So kapag ganyan, incidental fraud lang po yan. Okay? So hindi po yun yung driving force or factor that induce the other party, which is a prudent man, okay, to enter into a contract. Kapag ganun, serious dapat kasi ang fraud. Diba? So kung hindi ganun, okay, wala namang fraud sa perfection of the contract, then valid yung kontrata. Perfectly valid. Except that there was fraud only during the execution or consummation. That is incidental fraud. What is your remedy in case of incidental fraud? Just ask for damages. Huwag mong tanggapin yung hindi naman dapat i-deliver sa'yo. Okay? Or kung gusto mong tanggapin, ask for lower price but ask for damages. Pero kapag causal fraud, aside from asking for damages, because according to 1170, the following are causes of damages. 1, F, fraud. N, okay, negligence. D, delay. And C, contravention of the tenor of the obligation. Okay? So pag causal fraud, aside from damages, you can also ask for annulment. Now, failure to disclose facts when there is duty to reveal them. So kung kailangan at dapat mong i-reveal at hindi mo ginawa, that is fraud. Okay? As when parties are bound by confidential relations, constitutes fraud. Okay? Pero hindi lahat ng hindi lahat ay kailangan mo i-disclose. For example, yung trade secret, hindi mo pwedeng i-disclose yan. Protected ka dyan. Di ba? Yung mga ingredient ng produkto mo, hindi mo pwedeng i-disclose. We will discuss this when we reach law on consumer protection. The following does not constitute fraud. The usual exaggeration in trade. Ayan, ha? Usual exaggeration in trade. Yung mga advertisement, di ba? Na, ba't ganun? Nasa billboard, ganito itsura. Tapos nung actual na, iba. Ito, fraud to. Fraudulent to. Niloko nyo ako. Napapayag nyo akong bumili. Hindi naman ganito itsura ng burger na nandun. Usual exaggeration yan. Di ba? Kunyari, biglang si Piolo Pascual ang kumakain ng product. No? Ano bang product yan? Yung Turks. Di ba? O kaya naman si tawag nito, si Ann Curtis. Okay, sa alak. No, anong alak yan? GSM Blue. But parang hindi naman siya nalalasing kapag siya yung may hawak nung alak na GSM Blue. Malamang kasi hawak lang niya. Hindi naman niya iniinom. But nung ako yung uminom, nalasing ako. Okay? So this is fraud. Hindi po ganon. Usual exaggeration in trade lang po yan. Yan. When the other party had an opportunity to know the facts, are not in themselves fraudulent. Diba? Example ng exaggeration, yung about sa tawag nito, sa oras, no? Bigla siyang tumanda or bigla siyang bumata, ganyan. Pag kinain mo to, ganito yung magiging itsura mo, okay? Kapag ininom mo tong Fit and Right, ganito magiging itsura mo, magkaka-abs ka. Laklak ako ng laklak ng Fit and Right, hindi naman ako nagkaka-abs. O, hindi po yan nagko-constitute ng fraud, no? Ayan, usual exaggeration in trade lang. A mere expression of an opinion does not signify fraud. So pag nagbigay ka ng opinion, sa tingin ko kasi ganito siya eh. Hindi ako sigurado, opinion ko lang to. So expression of opinion, hindi po yan panloloko. Unless, sabi ng batas, made by an expert. Kasi kung expert ka sa isang bagay, pinaniniwalaan ka. Diba? Meron kang expertise doon, say for example, veterinary ka. So presume na alam mo yung mga tungkol sa mga hayop. Engineer ka. Okay? Presume na alam mo yung tungkol sa mga construction materials. O kaya naman mechanical engineer sa mga machine. Ayan. So if you are an expert, okay? Or lawyer ka, 'di ba? Presume na alam mo yung batas, 'di ba? Expert at naniwala sa iyo, okay? And the other party has relied on the former's special knowledge. Fraud po 'yun kung nagkamali or mali po yung opinion mo as an expert at nag-rely. So dapat expert ka na nagbigay ng opinion at nag-rely po yung other party. Example po ulit. No, say for example sa mga cases involving psychological incapacity under Article 36 of the Family Code. Okay, yung mga psychiatrists, di ba? So sila po nagbibigay ng assessment, opinion about doon sa status, mental status ng parties, di ba? Yung isa, meron pa sila sinasabing narcissistic disorder, okay? Etc. So, as an expert, as a psychiatrist, okay, nagre-rely po doon yung kaso din. Okay, pwede pong tignan ng judge or court, okay, officer ng court, yung iyong statement or opinion because you are an expert. And of course, nagre-rely dyan yung mga parties kasi nga, in fact, ginagamit siya as evidence. Pero pag nagkamali ka dyan, fraud. Okay, expression of opinion. Because you were asked as an expert. Okay? Misrepresentation by third person does not vitiate consent unless such misrepresentation has created substantial mistake and the same is mutual. Okay? So, misrepresentation, okay, does not vitiate consent. Pero pwede po siya na error, di ba? Unless the misrepresentation has created substantial mistake. So kung simple mistake lang, okay, hindi po yan nagko-constitute ng vitiation. Kung substantial mistake, meaning, okay, there is fraud resulting to fraud, okay, then it is vitiation of consent. Meron tayong example noon, yung tinatawag na yung case ng Air France versus Carrascoso. Okay, if you can still recall, yung case na yan, siya po ay si Rafael Carrascoso, sumakay siya sa isang eroplano, okay, at pupunta siya sa ibang bansa. May connecting flight. So yung ticket niya ay nasa business class, no? Ngayon, nung nag-connecting flight sila, for example, sa Singapore, lumapag muna sila doon, may dumating na white man, pinapaalis siya doon sa kanyang upuan. 'Di ba? Pinalipat siya doon sa economy class. Teka lang, ang nasa aking ticket ay business class. Ayan. So, ngayon, it's a substantial mistake kung sakali man napapalipatin ka doon. Ang mali yun eh. Ang nandoon sa iyong kontrata is what? You have here the so-called plane ticket ay business class. Okay? Ang nangyari doon, pinalipat pa rin siya at nag-file siya ng tinatawag nating breach of contract. Okay? Against doon sa owner ng airline, yung airline company. Tapos, quasi-delict doon sa stewardess, flight attendant na nagpalipat sa kanya. Kasi napahiya siya, etc. So, yung bad faith na ginawa na stewardess constitutes fraud. Yan. Okay? So, substantial mistake. Misrepresentation made in good faith is not fraudulent but may constitute an error. Yan. So, good faith, hindi po fraudulent. Pero bad faith, fraudulent. Okay? Pero it may constitute error, so it may be considered as one of the vices of consent under mistake. Okay? In order that fraud may make a contract voidable, para maging voidable, the fraud should be serious. So, ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina po, no? Serious po ang fraud if this is used to lead, okay, or induce the other party who is a prudent man, okay, to enter into a contract. So kung hindi po sana present itong fraud na ito, okay, hindi siya maenganyong makipagkontrata. So it must be serious. So yan po yung nag-lead sa kanya to decide na makipag-enter siya into a contract. Pero kung yung fraud na yan, hindi yan, kumbaga, yung deciding factor or nag-lead sa kanya, hindi po yan considered as serious fraud. Hindi po yan nagkaroon ng vice ng kanyang consent, or hindi yan yung, kumbaga, factor na nakapag-affect doon sa kanyang pagbigay ng consent. So, hindi po vices of consent yan. The fraud should not have been employed by both contracting parties. So, yan na. Kasi pag ganyan, pari delikto. And then they have to suffer their own loss kapag ganyan. Kasi dalawa silang niloko ni Juan si Pedro, niloko din ni Pedro si Juan. O di quits lang sila. Then we have causal fraud and incidental fraud as discussed a while ago. Under causal fraud, there is dolo causante. The fraud happened during the perfection of the contract. So during the determination of the existence, yung pagbigay pa lang ng consent, may panloloko nang nangyari. So sa umpisa pa lang, niloloko ka na niya. So what is your remedy? Annulment. Yan. Annulment of the contract because the latter is voidable due to fraud. And claim for damages. Ayan. Pero pag incidental fraud, nung umpisa, valid naman. Wala namang panlolokong nangyari nung nagkaroon kayo ng agreement. Nung nagkasundo kayo, okay, talaga namang importer siya, buyer ka naman talaga. Okay? Babayaran mo naman talaga yung 50 bags ng Japanese rice, magta-transfer o mag-import naman siya, deliver siya ng 50 bags ng Japanese rice. But during the execution and performance of the contract, Diyan po nagkaroon ng panloloko. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Ha? 25 na lang na Japanese rice ang dineliver, hinaluan niya ng 25 bags ng jasmine rice. Tsaka mo nalaman that there was fraud. Diba? Incidental to the performance. So, sa consent, valid. Kaya wala pong vice of consent. Kaya wala pong voidable contract dyan. Diba? Nagiging voidable ang contract dahil sa dalawa. One of the parties, again, is not capacitated to enter. Idiot po. Okay? Idiot. Insane, deaf-mute, okay? Incapacitated person, and unemancipated minors, and those suffering from civil interdiction. Pangalawa, second instance ay when the consent, when there's vitiation of consent by or through video, violence, intimidation, or deceit, or dolo, error or mistake, or undue influence. So, dito sa incidental fraud, wala pong vitiation of consent. Okay? Nagkaroon lang ng fraud during the execution, consummation stage. Kaya ang iyong remedy is not to annul the contract, but just to ask for payment of damages. So, yan po. Under incidental fraud. Simulation of contract. Dapat alamin nyo po ang pagkakaiba ng absolutely simulated, wala po talagang kontrata, at relatively simulated, may kontrata pero iba po ang intention nila. Example, no? Absolutely simulated. It takes place when the parties do not intend to be bound at all. Sabi ni Juan de la Cruz kay Pedro, Pedro, gawa tayo ng deed of absolute sale sa lupa ko located dyan sa Quezon City. Sabi naman ni Pedro, teka lang Juan, wala akong pambayad dyan. Tsaka wala akong intensyong bilhin yung lupa mo. Hindi, gawa lang tayo ng deed of absolute sale. Bakit ba? Tulungan mo ko. Ipapakita ko lang dun sa creditor ko na wala na akong lupa. No? Ito, nabenta ko na sa'yo. So, ibig sabihin, walang intention talaga si Pedro na bilhin. So, wala pong agreement as to the object and consideration technically. May object dun sa deed of absolute sale, yung lupa. May consideration pero wala namang intensyong bayaran. Gawa-gawa lang. It is simulated. Gawa-gawa lang. And this contract is absolutely simulated. For whatever purpose. Legitimate man yung purpose niya or illegitimate o gusto niyang i-defraud yung creditor, still, ano po ang effect ng absolutely simulated? The absolutely simulated or fictitious contract is void. Void. Wala pong effect yan. Okay? No effect. But a relatively simulated ganito. Sabi mo, Juan, idodonate ko to sa'yo, itong lupa na to. Uy, maraming salamat. Sabi naman ni Juan. Sino sasalita doon? Si Pedro. No? Pero gawa tayo ng deed of absolute sale. Teka lang, wala akong pambayad sa'yo. Hindi, ilagay lang natin na sale yan para hindi ka habulin ng mga anak ko. Kasi gusto ko talagang sa'yo ibigay yung lupa. Kaibigan kita, matagal na kitang kaibigan at gusto ko pamanahan kita. Pero ayoko kasing gawing ayoko kasing gawing donation, no? Kasi baka pag donation, syempre, makikita nila dinonate ko, magrereklamo yung mga anak ko. Tsaka baka ipakita pa nilang inofficious yung donation. Kaya sale na lang, ibenta ko na lang sa'yo. Kasi kapag kahabang buhay ako, wala pang say yung mga anak ko. Kasi ako pa yung may-ari. So pwede kong ibenta. Ay, ganun ba? Wala akong pambayad sa'yo. Wala kang ibabayad. Minimal lang. Donation nga kasi. So ilagay lang natin doon, okay? Itong 1,000 square meter lot located sa Quezon City. Okay? Ibibenta ko to sa'yo at 10,000 pesos lang or 100,000. Yan. Okay? So, this is a relatively simulated contract. It takes place when the parties conceal their true agreement. So, meron talaga silang agreement. May kontrata talaga. Sale, pero ang kontrata talaga nila is a donation. Ano po ang remedy pag ganyan? Hindi po voidable, hindi mo ipapaanal yung kontrata at lalong hindi siya void contract. Ang remedy mo dyan is just to reformation. Ayusin at i-indicate ang totoong intention ng mga parties in a valid contract. Okay? So it's a relatively simulation, okay, when it does not prejudice a third person. Yan. And it's not intended for any purpose contrary to law, moral, good customs, public order, or public policy binds the parties to their real agreement. Basta't hindi po siya nakakapag-prejudice ng third person. Okay? So donation siya, gusto talaga niyang i-donate, pero it made it appear, no? They prepared a contract of absolute sale or deed of absolute sale para ipakita na may sale. But still, the true intention is donation. Nakaka-affect ba yan sa creditors niya or kinautangan niya? Hindi naman po. Ginawa ba niya para i-defraud yung third person, to prejudice the third person? Hindi naman po. Or any purpose contrary to law, moral, customs, public order, public policy? Hindi naman po. Okay, yung pag-donate niya ay karapatan niya kasi siya po yung nagmamay-ari. Basta't hindi in officious. Anong ibig sabihin ng in officious? Ang donation ay in officious kapag natamaan mo at nabawasan mo ang legitimate share ng mga heirs. Yung tinatawag nating legitim. Okay? So kunyari, ang talagang dapat na matanggap ng mga heirs ay tig 250,000 at dahil doon sa pag-donate ni Juan de la Cruz kay Pedro, naging tig 200,000 na lang sila. Ayan, may tama po. Okay? Doon sa in officious donation. So magiging void po yung donation na yan. Kasi dapat mapunta po sa mga heirs. Okay? Pero kung sakali man na nakatanggap sila ng legitimate or legitim nila na tig 250 tapos sobra pa yung dinonate sa outside party, okay? Donation inter vivos ang tawag po doon kasi yung paghatian naman through testamentary disposition or will o kaya naman intestate ay donation mortis causa. So it's a donation also, 'di ba? Pero during the death. Ito naman during lifetime, 'di ba? So kunyari hindi naman po ganyan, valid po 'yon. Ang gagawin mo lang as remedy is just to reform the said contract. Okay? So as a rule, kapag absolute, void. Kapag relative, valid. Except pag relative, nakakapag-prejudice sa third person. Okay? O kaya naman it is not intended for any purpose, okay, contrary to law, pero kapag contrary to law, void na po siya. Automatic yan. Moral, void na po yan. Elements of consent. Okay? Plurality of the subject. Kaya po plurality kasi dapat dalawang magbigay ng consent. Di ba? Pag quasi contract, isa lang, lawful unilateral. Unilateral. So hindi po yan, okay? Consent, dalawang consent. Dapat plurality, dalawa. Capacity, of course, the person should be capacitated to give consent. Hindi po dapat sila part ng idiot. Intelligent and free will. Yung consent must be intelligently given, kaya hindi dapat insane, dapat during lucid interval. Free will, okay, wala po dapat vices. Hindi po siya intimidated, hindi po siya hindi po siya na-impluwensyahan. Okay? O kaya naman may violence na-inflict, etc. Express or tacit manifestation of the will. So expressly, okay, na talagang gusto niya na makipag-enter into contract. Conformity of the internal will and its manifestation through the acts. Ayan. So yan yung elements ng consent. Okay? Person capable of giving consent, na-discuss na natin ito. Okay, we have here idiot. Okay? Insane or demented, deaf, mute, who does not know how to write, incompetent, under guardianship, unemancipated minor, and those suffering from civil interdiction, or those incapacitated persons. Object. The following are objects. Allowed object. Okay? All things which are not outside the commerce of men. Not outside the commerce of men. Ano ba yung mga bagay na outside the commerce of men? Okay? Yung buwan. No, hindi mo pwedeng ibenta yung buwan. Hindi mo pwedeng ibenta yung ocean. Hindi mo pwedeng ibenta yung mga between. Kung sino man ang bibili nun, mukhang meron pong tama sa utak. At ikaw naman, meron ka rin tama sa utak kung sakali binibenta mo yon, no? So, all things which are not outside the commerce of men, pwede. Not outside. Kagaya po ng mga cellphone, sasakyan. Ayan. It's within the commerce of men. Including future things. Ibig sabihin, sir, pwede kong ibenta yung wala pa sa akin? Yes. Okay? You can sell future things as long as when the time when you are obliged to deliver the said thing, ikaw na yung may-ari. Okay? Example, ibebenta ko nga pala sa iyo yung mga puppy nung aking aso. Teka lang, buntis ba yung aso mo? Hindi pa. Wala pa, future thing pa lang yan. 'Di ba? So hindi pa ikaw yung nagmamay-ari ng puppy kasi wala pang puppies. Do yung aso sa iyo. Yan. O kaya naman ibebenta ko yung harvest ko dito sa farm. Meron na ba? Wala pa. After 2 months pa. So future things, 'di ba? Hindi mo alam kung may ma-harvest ka talaga during that time. Okay? But you can sell. Yan po yung tinatawag natin sa FINMAN, if you can still recall, yung future contract, 'di ba? You can sell future things as long as when the time comes, you have the you are the owner, okay? And you can deliver the said thing. Kasi delivery transfers ownership. All rights which are not intransmissible, okay, double negative, no, not na intransmissible. Hence, all rights which are transmissible may also be the object of the contract. Kagaya po ng rights mo sa shares of stock, rights mo sa bonds, pwede po na i-transfer yan. So, pwede pong ibenta. No contract may be entered into upon future inheritance. Bawal po na magbenta ng future inheritance. Meaning po nito, example, hindi mo pwedeng ibenta yung lupa ng tatay mo hanggat buhay pa siya. At sabihin mong binibenta ko to kasi ito yung share ko mula sa kanya. Hindi po pwede. Kasi ang owner pa rin yung tatay mo. Ang pwede mong ibenta is not the future inheritance, but you can sell the future or undivided share in the estate. So kapag ka nandyan na yung estate, may decedent na, ang pwede mong ibenta is the undivided share dun sa estate, hindi yung future inheritance mo. Diba? It may seem parang parehas naman, sir, yung future na tatanggapin ko ang binebenta ko. Pero yung term kasi dito, future inheritance, yung mga property. Diba? So hindi mo pa pwedeng ibenta. Ang pwede mo lang ibenta is the undivided share. As to kung ano yung property, wala pa, hindi pa napapartition. Diba? So yung buyer naman ng undivided share mo or interest mo dun sa inheritance, kung ano ang napunta sa'yo, okay, after the partition, yun naman ang kukunin nila. Diba? So, ayan ha. Iba naman ang usapan, class, ng sale of property after partition. Ikaw na talaga yung may-ari, tsaka mo binenta. Subject to the rights of your co-heirs for or to redemption. Pwede po nilang legally i-redeem yan pag binenta mo sa ibang tao. Okay, we'll discuss redemption when we reach sales. All services which are not contrary to law, moral, customs, public order, or public policy may likewise be object of contract. Say for example, contract of service ng isang abogado, isang accountant, isang engineer, ito po not contrary to law, moral, good customs, public order, public policy, pwede pong maging object ng contract. O kaya naman, barbero, okay, ang object nila is service na manggupit, that is not contrary to law. Okay? Moral, customs, public order, public policy. And it is a valid. Impossible things or services cannot be the object of contract. Impossible legally or physically. Example po, legally impossible, yung magbenta ka ng drugs. Hindi po possible yan legally. Bawal po kasi nga, that is outside the commerce of men. Diba? Impossible thing po yan. Impossible service, okay, physically, fly high to the moon. I will give you 10,000 pesos if you will fly high to the moon. Ay, that is illusory, katang-isip lang because wala naman tayong pakpak at hindi tayo makakalipad papuntang buwan. Okay? To do ang sabi if you will fly high to the moon. Pero pag sinabi niya, I will give you 10,000 pesos if you will not fly high to the moon. So if it is not doing an impossible thing, valid po yan. But if it is doing an impossible thing as a condition, void po yan. Illusory. Okay? So, ayan na. Impossible thing, hindi po pwedeng object ng kontrata unless, okay, not doing an impossible thing. And of course, we have cause or consideration. The consideration is the essential reason which moves the contracting parties to enter into a contract. It is the immediate, direct, and proximate reason, okay, which justifies the creation of an obligation through the will of the contracting parties. And of course, the cause or consideration must be true. Okay? Tama na consideration. It must exist. So yung price o kaya naman ibabayad ay existing, or it must be licit or lawful. Okay? Hindi pwede class na ang ibabayad sa iyo ay immoral act. Okay? Or immoral conduct, no? Bawal po 'yan. Okay, bawal po 'yan. Okay? Wait lang, charge ko lang class ha. Yan. So, it must be true. Okay? It must exist yung ibabayad, and it must be lawful. Example, ibabayad ko sa iyo ha, ibenta mo sa akin 'tong lupa mo, ibabayad ko sa iyo ay 100,000 pesos plus ang aking sasakyan na Toyota Fortuner with plate number ILY 143. Wala ka naman talagang sasakyan na ganun. Okay? So, it must exist. Yan. Totoo. Okay? Hindi mo pwedeng ibayad ang illegal drugs because it is unlawful. Hindi mo pwedeng ibayad ang immoral act. Delivery. The delivery of an object of a contract is an additional requisite in a real contract. Na-discuss na po natin ito, no? In a real contract, the requisites are consent as to the object and consideration, and don't forget to deliver the said object. But not in a consensual contract, kasi pag consensual, COC lang po, sapat na. Okay? So, this ends our discussion on the first part of our lesson for today.